no editing whatsoever. So it's kind of exciting, and hopefully you guys will come back and watch it, or maybe even check in while I'm videoing this. But today there's some crazy stuff going on in terms of deals with our military, where it's totally unexpected. In 2 days, we've had two intercepts of Russian military aircraft entering our airspace. And then at the same time, news comes out that our retention numbers are lower than they've ever been. The military is having a terrible time of both getting new soldiers and keeping soldiers who are already in the military. So we're going to cover all that stuff today, and then I'm going to roll because I got to go get my daughter to a dance. Why they have dance on Thursday night, no idea, but we got to do that later. So I'm going to go ahead and hit these couple of things and let you guys, if you've got comments, go ahead and make them while we're doing the video, and I'll respond live because I've had a bunch of people asking me questions about different things recently. So I want to kind of give you guys the chance that while we're looking at these things and talking about them to ask questions, and we'll answer them on the spot. So first things first, there are these reports coming out right now of Russian military aircraft basically flying into our airspace. So basically what they're saying is that NORAD, which is, we've talked about NORAD before, it is basically the way I describe it is it's a mountain that has a whole bunch of radar sites around it. Its job is to protect America. It's hardened against nuclear attack. That's kind of what it's in the mountain for. It's in Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado. And what they're saying is NORAD detected these aircraft, and we launched some F-35s out of Alaska to intercept these aircraft on these two separate days. And what they have been is Russian Tu-95s, and the thing that's scary about that, Tu-95 is a nuclear capable aircraft. So these things could actually have, nuclear weapons on them when they're making these flights to where we, intercept them. So F-16s intercepted them on Wednesday. Today we had F-35s intercept them. Thing that's kind of problematic about this is, with all these balloon problems we've been seeing recently and all these different penetrations of our airspace, the question becomes, are they probing us to see where our weak points are? Are they rattling our cage a little bit and just messing with us because they see the stuff coming out of the White House and the really great things that our president is putting out? So let me hit the live chat button there. Boom, got it. Brand new to it. How exciting, huh? But they're basically saying that we've intercepted nuclear capable bombers twice this week. So while that doesn't sound like a hugely scary thing, the thing that I take issue with that makes me kind of nervous is A, what's their long game? Why are they doing this? What's their goal? And at the same time, what is their plan moving forward when it comes to China? Because we are seeing, like I already alluded to at the beginning of the video, we are seeing drastic shortfalls when it comes to our military's ability to recruit younger people and to recruit people who are capable of jobs. Talked about in an earlier video, the Air Force is 1,600 fighter pilots short. 1,600. So, quick pitch, I'm already a pilot. I'm already down here. You guys got these F-22s and all this cool stuff parked right down the way. I got you, man. I'll come back. I'll come out of retirement. I'll do it Tom Brady style and get my butt back in the game. No big deal. We'll make it happen. But, they're saying they've got all these shortfalls where we cannot meet the requirements we need just to have a sustained military. So you got Russia and China both now kind of rattling our cage a little bit, making these flights where they're, coming within 15 miles of American airspace. You've got China just doing the little blow them up, throw the balloons over, and, see what we do. And now you've got these numbers that show we are completely incapable of recruiting kids out of high school and older to want to join the military. They're saying that a big part of the reason behind that is that the kids are saying a lot of stuff that kind of makes sense. They're saying that they don't want PTSD, they don't want to uproot their lives and their future, and they don't want to uproot their plans. My question is, are we out of red-blooded American kids who want to serve their country and do something greater than themselves? Have we created a generation of kids who are only interested in being the next Bill Gates or Elon Musk or working for Microsoft or whoever it is they want to work for? I I don't know if that's I don't know if it's necessarily true, or if it is just that the job market is so bad in terms of me as an employer, finding employees, that these kids can find jobs everywhere so easy that the old, oh, I'm going to join the military because I can't find anything else to do, is kind of a thing of the past. So here's what the Department of Defense is saying. They missed their recruiting goal for the fiscal year 2022 by more than 10,000 troops. And they're kind of suggesting that American youth is not interested in joining the military because of the aforementioned reasons of PTSD and life-altering mental problems on top of going to war, which, being on the other side of that now, I sort of understand. But at the same time, we have to do this. I mean, you look at the numbers here. There are one, two, three, four militaries with more people than us. That's a problem. That's kind of a scary scenario. You've got North Korea that has almost an 8 million man standing army. China has 4 million. Russia has 3.6 million, probably less considering the way things are going for them right now. But and then we roll in at number 4 with 2 million. I really think that's a problem. I mean, what are we going to do? We're supporting Ukraine in very overt ways. We just sent them some tanks, so now they're sitting on some of our Abrams tanks. We've supported them with long-range rockets, artillery, tons of money. We're sponsoring the war. That should be, Zelensky should come out with his little, Ukraine battle jacket on, and just like all the pro athletes, a little sticker up here that just says sponsored by America. Because that's what we're doing. We're propping them up by giving them Javelin missiles and all these weapon systems, let alone bringing them here and training them on how to use it before we send them back. So we're creating a hot Cold War, in my opinion, where Russia hates us again. There's no Hillary Clinton pushing the easy button and everything's great again. Now we're right back to they hate us, we hate them, and we're doing everything we can to kill them. So what happens since China and Russia are creating these trade deals that I've talked about previously, where they're trading billions of dollars in oil and materials? What happens when they look east at us and say, you know what? America is weak. We can hang with them. But we're going to do it by putting our forces together, because the Chinese and the Russians fly very similar aircraft. Many of the aircraft are created in Russia and trade deal manufactured in China. And that's why you see all these airframes that are the exact same based on these two countries. So they've got interoperability there where their pilots can fly both aircraft, where you could put a Chinese pilot in a Russian aircraft and a Russian pilot in a Chinese aircraft. That's a problem for us. Their strategy is, we don't care about our people. You'll run out of people or you'll run out of bullets and airplanes before we run out of people. Well, when you consider these numbers, I mean, China's got what would I say it was? 4 million active duty, and Russia's got 3.6. So you're looking at roughly 8 million soldiers versus us and our 2 million total. I'm not coming out of retirement unless you give me one of them F-22s. I'm too old for that crap. Not doing it. So what are we going to do there? How do we get, American kids to want to come back and rejoin the military? Because now it's like I said, it's the perfect storm where you have the form to get out of the military is called a DD-214. It's the form that we can give to the VA, employers, all these different people that show we served in the military, and here's what we did in the military, where we were posted, where we were stationed, and what we've done. And there's a backlog where military personnel is saying 9 months to a year to get that piece of paper. That's how many people are refusing to stay in the military. And I think the answer is military leadership is not good. And it starts at the top with our current president. One of the darkest days for me in the last, since I got home from Afghanistan, so in the last 10 years, was the day that I got to watch us leave Afghanistan. America is bad at a lot of things, and we have a lot of problems in this country, but one thing that I will never accept is seeing civilians so afraid of what's coming that they're clinging to the outside of our airplanes as we're running with our tail between our legs. That is not what I fought for, and that is not what other American soldiers fought for. We don't sacrifice time away from our families, mental health because the VA just wants to give you drugs when you get back, all of these things to watch us flee like we somehow lost. And we didn't. We didn't lose. I never lost a battle. And, anyways, aside from that, we didn't lose. We were fighting the fight. It was going to be a long drawn out where we knew that. But we gave away Bagram Air Force Base, which is a fortress. I mean, I'm here to tell you, the Taliban could not have mounted enough people whatsoever to get in there. That place is a fortress with landmines and walls and guns and towers. Instead, we moved all of our American people to Kabul Air Force Base. Well, just Kabul International Airport in reality. And Kabul is, I'm not kidding, one step below any international airport in America. It's got a fence around it. It's got a gate. That's it. So we bailed on a center of American power, a place where we have fighting vehicles, tanks. Our main hub for fighting the war in the north and northeast part of the country was Bagram Air Force Base. And you disenfranchised everyone who ever fought in Afghanistan by departing the country in such a, pardon my language, such a shitty way. I mean, that's not us. We don't leave people behind. We definitely don't take off when there's people clinging to the airplanes. That's not us. And I think that is why you see such a retention problem in the military right now, like I was saying. And then you see kids today who look at those videos and what are they going to say? Like, oh yeah, cool, sign me up. That looks super fun. Great, yeah, I'm in. Yeah, no. What they're going to do is they're going to take jobs at Google and all these other companies that are hiring as much as they can because they can't get anybody to work. So I think that's really the deal there. You know, why we have such a tiny military is we've relied on technology for a very long time to kind of balance the scales with these countries that have just dudes, you know, where they've got 5 million man army. Cool, we got bombs for that. That's great and everything, but what happens when everyone that is in the military is leaving? Now what? Who's going to fly the airplanes? We're 1,600 pilots short. The Army's saying, you know, we fell short of our goals by 10 to 18,000 people. The generals in Washington are telling Biden, General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about this, what your thoughts are. So let me, yeah, exactly. That's another big part of the problem you see is that our president does not portray strength. He is very often low on the military and low on law enforcement and low on all of the service-based thoughts that we as patriotic Americans have. I mean, I agree with that. I don't know that I would want to serve in a military where Joe Biden is my boss. That doesn't feel great. It's not a good vibe. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys today about in these terms, is it really is scary because these other countries are, young ones seem to want to start out making money with no experience, work hard and earn it. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is there are tons of, and I see it in my store all the time. You know, these kids will come in and the first question in the interview, I haven't even got to ask a question yet, which typically, you know, you kind of want to let the employer set the tone for how you're going to run the interview, just saying. That's their first question is, hey, how much does it pay? And honestly, as an employer, I'd rather work the store myself. If that's your first question, I'm not interested in employing you. I mean, and you're absolutely right. That's exactly what's happening right now. That is part of what we're dealing with as well. And the military is not exactly the highest paying gig on the planet. So yeah, I totally agree that's another part of the shift that we're seeing as well, where a lot of these kids just no experience and they want a huge paycheck. And like I said, I mean, I definitely see that in the store without a doubt. But yeah, I think that we saw it beginning in the Trump administration, and we're really seeing it way more now with Biden, that people just don't have an interest in serving in the military, because you also play into the vaccine situation where, you know, you've got Biden mandating that the military get the vaccine, and hey, that's not a debate I'm going to have. It's just not. I don't debate on vaccine stuff. I don't touch the abortion subject. Like, just not happening. Nope, not doing it. So, but that's one of those things. Think about the number of people who would be interested in joining the military that aren't going to do it because they're not going to get a mandatory vaccine. Same token, we just kicked out 200 Navy SEALs, perfectly good fighting men that are fully trained Navy SEALs whose entire jobs just go crush people. Kicked them out because they wouldn't get the vaccine. Okay, cool. How much did we spend on these guys? Couple $1 million each training these Navy SEALs to be hardcore dudes, and then we're going to kick them out because they won't get vaccinated. So we've got a retention problem. We have bad leadership, youth who's not interested in serving for a varying number of reasons, and two enemies now, two who are very focused on our failure. And that's just including Russia and China. We're not even talking about North Korea, who has a 8 million man standing army, which, say what you will, that's a lot of peeps. 8 million, when you look at us, France, Germany, and England, that's about what we all put together total. That's not great, because you put that 8 million on top of the 4 million that China has and the 3.5 million Russia has. That's a lot of dudes. How are we going to handle that? And all these problems are coming together at the perfect time. I mean, there's so much turmoil in the world that we can't be the police of everything. How can we be the police of anything when we have no one to fight? 1,600 pilots short, that's a lot of freaking airplanes that aren't going to be flying this year. I'll take one. It's cool. I got it. Don't worry. Same thing with soldiers. I mean, 15,000 short, that's 15,000 different roles in the military, just in the Army alone, that aren't going to get filled. So thank you guys for sticking in on this, my first, little live chat. It's interesting to just straight up just doing it live. We're not gonna fix anything in the post record. We're just gonna bust it out. Yeah, things are getting really crazy at this point. Anything could happen. That's absolutely true, and that's what I find to be the most troubling aspect of this is we, as a country, could always rely on the fact that we had men and women who, coming up, their life goal is, I want to be in the military, or I want to be in the military and I want to be an officer. I'm going to go ROTC. I'm going to go to, a service university like Air Force Academy, West Point, one of these. Where are they? Why don't they want to do these things anymore? So I'd love it. Like, just throw some more, thoughts in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that thing, because it really does help me out. And thank you guys for hanging in the live stream. I actually really like it. It's kind of fun being able to kind of converse back and forth while we're talking about, how we're going to solve the world's problems and fix the world and just make it great. So thank you guys so much for hanging in with me and watching. And I've got some really cool content coming out tomorrow and this weekend. You're going to see the other side of military life in the prepper story, because, believe it or not, there is a woman who can put up with this. And she has done so for like 18 years. And she's going to be sitting in the chair next to me, and we're going to be talking about the other side of living with a guy who likes to have all kinds of preparation and all kinds of opinions. So look forward to that. And I think you guys will enjoy seeing Lauren, and that's her name. Her name's Lauren. Seeing Lauren come back and kind of give the alternate case to a lot of what I'm saying. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.